Anyone ever tell you were too small to do something? Well, serving up at the breakfast buffet, we have my boy Matty Mags, an arena football player. Learn about his story and his journey here at the breakfast buffet.
Do it! Made Jazz a call. Made the decision 14-4.
And here we are. We have my boy right here, Matty Maserati, because he moves like a Maserati on the football field. What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I need to get a haircut pretty soon, but other than that, I'm doing well. What about you, brother?
I'm doing all right. Look at that mop on your head, man.
Yeah, dude,
Clean
it's
up
real
the
bad.
floors.
I gotta get a haircut ASAP, man. It's pretty bad. It's real bad. At least you got one, though. As long as you're looking good, that's all that matters, right?
Them bathroom cuts, I got a good steady hand.
I'm about to just shave all my hair off, man. It's getting that bad. So what's up, man? How you been?
Doing all right, making the best out of the situation, can't complain too much with all the stuff going around in the world, but how about you?
I'm doing good, man. Still training every day as much as I can. I got some weights in my basement. I kind of got like a little weight rack down there, but other than that, if I didn't have that, I'd be dying right now because none of the gyms are open. I gotta go hit underground, go see what's up with that. Go see you over there, huh?
Zach's the man, and that's where we met each other in the good old Edison Underground Strike Gym. Hardcore.
2007, we've been training together, huh? 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
The best, man. I missed that Edison one. That was right out of the garage.
Right out of old school, right there. Training in the summer, pulling those flowers and sleds right on that black top when it's like 95 degrees. built some toughness there.
Oh man, you don't know how many times I threw up over there doing that.
Just the amount of athletes that came from that gym. We had, me and you were just young kids. Me, you, Rosamelia, Ashnault would come every once in a while, Pagano, and then we had then we had guys like Mike Wagner. He was a all-state wrestler, and then killing it. And I think he's in Hawaii or Japan or something. He graduated top in his class in the Marines. So we had some badass dudes in there.
Yeah, we were savages. I think we could take down any gym, man. That underground squad right there, we were animals.
Yeah.
We did the most and everything, man. We did that. We could do everything.
And we would have some random people show up sometimes, and he'll be like the number one jiu-jitsu guy in the world, and he'll just go and crazy grip strength, do these fingertip pull-ups on the walls and stuff.
Dude, we had kids coming in 140 pounds, flipping a 600-pound tire. It was nuts, man.
Dude, it was nothing like it. And it's amazing how all of us back then, we grow up and now we're doing pretty amazing things. Now you're playing for the Arena Football League. How's that? How's playing for, was it New Jersey Bearcats? So this would have been what, your second season?
This was going to be my second season. We actually made it to the championship last year. We ended up going 13-1, and the team we lost to in the championship, we beat in the regular season. They were probably the best team we played. We beat them, and we ended up losing to them by a field goal, 3 points in the championship. It was tough. I scored 2 touchdowns, and we threw a pick going down to win it, and they ended up running out the clock and kicking a field goal, and that's how we lost. It was tough.
And it's kind of like a different sport, Arena Football League, right? So what are some of the comparisons and the differences between that and just the football that people are known with, NFL and college?
Yeah, to start off, instead of having 11 men on each side of the field, the offense and defense, you only have 8 people. So you only have 3 offensive linemen down, a running back, a quarterback, and then the rest are wide receivers. And then the same thing with the defense. You got 3 defensive linemen, and you got 3 linebackers, and then corners and safeties. So it takes people off the field. I'm a running back, so it's definitely hard to run in the box because it's just loaded up. You only got 3 offensive linemen blocking you, and the linebackers are pretty much wide open. So running the ball in arena football is definitely tough, and it's definitely a very physical sport. Arena football a little bit more probably than regular football because we got the walls. So you're running and you can get hit into the wall, over the wall. It's crazy, man. And instead of 100 yards, it's 50 yards.
That's pretty cool. So you'd say that the speed of the game is faster, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely a lot faster.
Yeah. So, huh?
Yeah, for sure, a lot faster.
What's the time limits on there? Is it like 4 quarters or is it two halves?
4 quarters. The times are all the same. We still have a halftime and everything. Everything in that aspect of the game is the same. The more difference is actually what's on the field, having the 50-yard total field, and then the 8 people on each side. And the field goals are a little differently because, well, actually, when you score a touchdown, you don't, we don't, and nobody really ever kicks a field goal because instead of having that as like the 1 point, it's like no, yeah, everybody pretty much just goes for it. We just like, it's always just like
It's not even a question to kick it.
yeah, nobody ever kicks it ever. The only time anybody ever kicks it is when it's maybe 4th down and you're going to win the game like the way we lost. They kicked the field goal and it ended it. But mostly after you score a touchdown, everybody always goes for it. But, yeah, I like arena football. It's just a way to just keep bumping up after college. You know, my whole thing is probably to try and go arena. And then I was going to try the XFL, but that's out of the window. You know about that already. And I'm just going to keep going till the wheels fall off, man.
Yeah, you know? Keep going, keep striving. What was the biggest difference going from college into arena football? How did they find you, and what was the just the measures to go and play this different type of football?
So what it was after my college career was over, I actually got a all-star game I got invited to. And that was in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and I had a great game. I ended up winning the MVP of that game, and I did good. Like when I was in college, I didn't really run the ball too much. I was more of like a blocking. I was a fullback. I wasn't a running back. But I leaned out a little bit, and then now I'm a running back. And in that all-star game, they were just giving me the rock, and I was doing good. Pretty sure I had 4 carries for 120 something yards, I was just breaking it. And I had 2 touchdowns, and I got noticed. I got the MVP, and then that's how this Arena Football League found me. They invited me to a tryout, and I ended up killing the tryout too. We did like a 40-yard dash. We did like the vertical jump, the broad jump, all different stuff like that. And I ended up like showing out in there. I ran my fastest 40 I ever ran, which was like a 4.65, and they liked me a lot. And I was running. They had me doing doing routes, and I was catching the ball good and stuff. I got my hands better, so I ended up becoming the starting running back for this team. And at first I was nervous because like I wasn't too familiar with like the Arena Football League rules and everything. I'm just so used to 11-man football, not 8-man football.
Yeah.
Right. Once you play like a game or two and you do the practices and everything, it becomes like second nature, you know. It's just being hands-on and getting to know everything and just running the plays over and over again and facing that 8-man defense and just having all those people in the box and it being difficult to run the ball. You just know how to like compensate with it. So
yeah, you gotta adapt and overcome, right? So do you think this will help you with an advantage going into regular football?
For sure. Yeah, this is way harder than regular football since I don't have as many blockers and just trying to find that gap, trying to find that hole to break it. And then when you go to 11-man football and you got 5 people on the line and you got a tight end or you got a fullback or you got more wide receivers in the box blocking for you, it's going to be like so much easier because I'm kind of making my own gaps and making my like following blocks that that aren't there that would be there in the 11-man football, So yeah, I think it will be definitely a lot easier for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was some of your training that you did to get you ready, for the next level, or even in college, to up your game, up your footwork?
Well, in college, we had, like the mandatory lifts, and I would wake up at 5 a.m. every day. College was crazy, man. Like, it was like a job, pretty much. I mean, you have all your, like studies and going to class and stuff. So I had like 8 a.m. classes in the morning, but that morning I had to wake up at 4:30, get dressed, go to the weight room. We'll do probably like an hour lift intensity. We did hypertrophy lifts, which was also crazy. We used to have this one lift where you have to grab a bar and you have two 45s on each side, and you can't put the bar down. You would have to do, high pulls, hang cleans, overhead standing military press, and you can't put the bar down, and you have 3 people in your group, and you just have to hand the bar over to the next person. And if you put the bar down, you got to start all over again, or you get discipline. And discipline would be you'd go out into the hallway, and you'd have to do like up downs until the coach says it's done, or wall sits for 5 minutes, or something crazy, But the lifts there were definitely different. And then we just had our regular lifts, and everything was competitive,
Uh-huh.
We'd be put in groups based on like your strength level and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And we'd have maxes like every week. By the end of the week,
Really?
you always try to make your own. You try to beat your max, best PR. And I ended up being able to squat, I think, almost 600 pounds by like the end of this, like the training season. And then also, aside the fact from just lifting, we would have to go out and do runs, and it would always be like a conditioning test, always.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So the conditioning test was we'd have to do 24 110s, and they would be they'd be timed. So 110 is you start at the back of the end zone, and you got to finish in the back of the other side of the end zone. You got to get that done. I think it goes bigs, mid skills, and then skills. I was a mid skill, like in between big and like the skills, and we had to get that done. And I think time by I think it was 9 or 10 seconds every single time. And if you miss, it doesn't count. You got to start it over.
You got to start it over, right?
And if you don't finish that, you don't like complete the test and pass it, the next day you got to do it. But that wasn't after we did the 24 110s, we had to do something called 300-yard shuttles, which would be, I think it was to the 50 and back until you reach 300 yards, and you had to do that in 1 minute and 20 seconds, which was also hard. And that was all part of the conditioning test.
With pads on too, right?
Oh,
yeah. All with pads on?
Yeah, shoulder pads, helmets. So that also adds like another weight to your body, so it's definitely difficult. And even in the snow and the rain, our coaches didn't care. We'd have in the snow, we'd have plate pushes where they put a 45-pound plate on the field, and in the snow, so it's building up behind the plate when you're pushing it. You got to push it all the way to the 50, and then you tag off, and the other guy goes back. We did that a lot. We no matter what it was, we were always training hard and lifting hard, and we never had any days off. And then having that, and then going to school, like going to like class and stuff, it was crazy. So we'd have the lifts, the run, then you go to your 8 a.m. class, you finish class, you have your last class around 1 o'clock, unless you have a lab, or that would be like at 4. Then you have to go to film all day before practice. Then you go to practice, then you go film again about that practice. And then you just do the whole cycle all over again. Saturday.
I like the whole team camaraderie thing. It's like you guys were doing stuff in teams and everything. Was the training, like, say that if you're a running back or fullback, was the training different between, say, a lineman or a QB and a cornerback, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, they would try and make the training that you did based on, like, your position. Like, so I'm a running back. We would practice on, ball security, running through a gauntlet, people hitting that ball as hard as they can, because fumbles, if you fumble the ball, that's a total change of possession. It can change the whole game. So they worked on ball security with us. They put cones out, and we'd work on cut drills. And there's also something called a cut block, where, say I'm a running back and it's a pass play and you got to protect the quarterback. You run and you put your shoulder, your inside shoulder through we'd usually block like either a blitzing linebacker or a defensive end coming off the edge. And it's pretty much a sure block. If you keep your head up, it's almost like a tackle. You put your shoulder pad right through their knees, which is legal, and they do like pretty much a front flip over you, and it protects the quarterback. So we'd have like these big pads somebody would hold, and we'd do that for 30 minutes, just cut, block, in a bag, 30 minutes, and that gets tiring. We'd work on actual jump cuts, having a bag, and somebody would go one way, and you'd have to jump cut the other way. And it was tough. It was actually tiring after doing that for like an hour and a half, and then going right from there to like inside drill, which would be all run. You have defense coming, the whole inside, which would be the defensive linemen, the linebackers versus it's good on good too. So the starters versus the starters. So it'd be starting defensive linemen and the starting linebackers versus the starting offensive linemen and the starting running backs. And we do that for a good 20 minutes, just banging as hard as we can. Our best plays versus their best defensive plays. And that was every single day.
That's it.
And so like,
and that's competitive. That's team competition right there.
Everything. There was never a time on the field we would do anything that wasn't competitive. And I loved it. And that's where you're either gonna like break, or you're gonna strive in the pressure. And that's how it is with everything. With wrestling, you're either gonna break or you're gonna survive. And only
only the strongest survive. You gotta be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? You gotta be, diamonds are made under pressure. What was the decision making process? Playing football in Monroe High School, playing there, getting recruited. How was that whole process and making that transition from high school to college?
Because, in Pop Warner, I was always one of the smallest kids. Like, I'm not a tall kid. I'm pretty short. I'm like 5'7", but
built like a Homer though.
Yeah, you gotta make up for it some way, In Pop Warner, even being short, I played defensive line, which is crazy because people always, what position you play? Like linebacker, running back? No, I played defensive line, which is, you're going up. I was a nose tackle, so you're going against the center and offensive linemen who are a lot bigger than me, but I would just use my speed and quickness. And then when I went to high school, they wanted to make me a linebacker, but I was just so used to being a defensive lineman. I asked my coaches, hey, listen, can I be a defensive lineman? They're like, oh, you're not big enough, you're too small, so you got to do this. So I pretty much ate my way into becoming bigger, just trying to do whatever I can.
Hitting up Zags, getting huge, yeah.
And then
with some crazy wrestlers.
By my junior year, I was playing varsity, and they had me at nose tackle, and they were like, I don't know how this kid's doing this, but he's 5'7", 200 pounds going up against kids who are 6 foot plus, weighing 250, 260. And by my senior year, I was also nose tackle. I had 88 tackles and 5 sacks. I was doing good as a defensive lineman because I was just so used to doing that my whole life. Now, when I was looking at colleges and stuff, being a defensive lineman at 5'7", 200 pounds, you're not going to get recruited by big time schools because they're looking for defensive linemen who are 6 foot, like I said, 6 foot, 250 pounds and all that. But I ended up getting recruited by a D2 school in West Virginia who was actually looking for a small, shorter, compact defensive lineman. So when I went there, I did that my freshman year, and I ended up redshirting. And then my head coach actually pulled me into the office, and he said, hey, Mags, what do you think about becoming a fullback? I was like, a fullback? He was like, yeah, we think that you'd be a good fullback. So I was like, yeah, I mean, if that's going to get me on the field, I'll give it a try. So my sophomore year, I ended up trying to be fullback, and it ended up being the perfect position for me, which is literally running full speed as hard as you can into people and just blowing them up, which is what I love. I love the contact, just putting your helmet straight into people every single play.
Right.
And my sophomore year, I had the fullback was a fifth-year senior, and I kind of just learned everything from him. He pretty much was my mentor. He gave me all the tips and stuff because after he left, I just filled in his shoes. So by my junior year, I was a starting fullback, and then my senior year, I was a starting fullback, and then my fifth year, I was a starting fullback. But the crazy thing is, my whole life, I was told, you're not big enough. You're probably not going to play. You're probably not going to start in high school because you're too small. You're not fast enough. You're not strong enough. And that just gave me the push I needed to help me become and overcome like what everybody was saying and prove everybody wrong. And even in high school, after my senior year, my head coach, he was like, "Yeah, you're probably gonna only go like to a D3 school. You're not big enough to become a college football player and like the higher levels." And I proved them wrong. I ended up going D2, and I ended up being a starter. And when I got to college, they're like, "Oh, you're probably just gonna be, like a special teams player, and you'll get on the field that way. There's nothing wrong with it." And then I ended up being a starting fullback for 3 years, and now after college, they're telling me, "Oh, you're probably not gonna be able to excel after college. You're probably just gonna end it once college is over. Hang up the towel." And now I'm playing arena football, and I'm striving in that. So I'm only gonna go up from here.
There you go. Keep it going. Refusing to lose, right? Refusing to lose. That's it.
I refuse to lose. I
Yeah.
learned from Zach too, and just the training we did with him. Never giving up. Always getting that last rep, even when you're pushing as hard as you can, and you're tired, and you want to give up, and you want to stop, and you want to just sit down and stop doing what you're doing, and just doing that extra push, man. You think that one last rep doesn't really mean that much, but in the long run, just teaching yourself how to keep going, it helps a lot. You just don't know. And doing that extra work,
especially in environment. Yeah, all about the extra work. Especially in an environment like that, we would try to get those last reps in, but we'll look next to us and everyone's getting not only one last rep in, but 2 or 3 or 4. So we're like, oh man, we gotta get that extra set or 2 in.
Yeah, you're looking at somebody, you're like, oh, I gotta one up this guy. You know all about that. Me and you in the weight room, we're always trying to one up each other, and you gotta be around people like that, because if you're training with people who are like, I don't really want to do that last rep, well, just cut. Nobody's looking, I can get away with it. Just tell them, yeah, I did it, this, and that. You're never going to win. You're never going to be a winner when you're around people like that. And you want to train with people who are also stronger than you, Because if you're training with people who are weaker than you and they don't want to be strong and they don't want to get better and better, you're just never going to get better yourself. You got to surround yourself with people who also want to be the best. And that's where the competition comes in. Because otherwise, if you're around people who don't care and are okay with being weak, you're never going to help yourself either. All about that.
Yep, you got to surround your people with the same goal that you want, be obsessed with the success, Yeah, so when you did,
yeah,
there you go. When you eventually did, get the call for the AFL and everything, turning pro and and all that, what was the training like going into that? Did they have you on a training program? I know I saw you at, you did lean out. You were looking quick, always doing those footwork drills.
Yeah. So, like, coming out of college, I was the fullback, so I ended up getting my weight up to around 220, but, I had a little excess fat, but I needed it just to, because I was going against people that were so big. So once I was done with college and they told me that they wanted me to be a running back, I started eating differently. I started eating lean meats, like fish and red steak, and just pretty much watching what I was eating a lot, and I started running a lot more, which I hate, by the way, but you got to do it.
Gotta do it.
Started running a lot on the field. They kind of gave me like a training pack for lifting and running and stuff, but I pretty much learned everything. I knew what I had to do from, being at the underground and stuff. So I kind of looked at what they gave me and, changed it up a little bit here and a little bit there. And I was training pretty much 7 days a week. And when I wasn't training, I was either stretching or doing anything to better myself, by like going in the jacuzzi, getting my muscles right, getting the band, stretching, icing myself, doing my own ice baths, Epsom salt baths, because they're a new team, so they're actually still in the process of building their facilities. So they're trying to build like a huge weight room for us and stuff. And right now it's not finished. So we couldn't have the whole team in there all training together. So everybody had to do something on their own. And by the time the season came, you knew who did something and who was slack. But yeah, I mean, I was just pretty much running a lot, working on my speed. I actually I got a membership in Retro Fitness, which is pretty good. You go to Retro, right?
Good old Retro, yeah.
And then I was looking at what they gave me. I was changing it up a little bit. I was doing about an hour and a half lift, doing heavy weights. I've been trying to stay away from like the heavy squats because my knees. You got to keep your knees going, especially as a running back. I get like these patellar tendonitis, so I've been doing different lifts that like Zach told me. Like Zercher squats or squatting with the dumbbells on each side or kettlebells. And just changing it up a little bit.
Adaptive,
a lot of band work, everything that I could to just try and make myself better. I was doing a lot of resistance training where I would take a heavy band, like one or two of them tied around one of those poles on the weight rack, and I would just start in my position as a running back, and then just do like a 5 meter like sprint with the resistance, and that helps you just get that explosiveness right off the line, because once that they call hike, and the ball snap, you wanna get that ball and know exactly where you're going as fast as you can. So I was doing that. I was doing a lot of ladder drills, and in Retro, the one I go to, they have this really cool machine that is like it's like a manual treadmill. So I think you were running on it once. It doesn't turn on. You have a lever, and it goes from resistance to like the very low resistance. And I've been just sprinting on that, and that actually got my speed way up. And I was running with a what is that called? With the weight jacket,
weighted vest. Yep.
Yeah, weighted vest, or the chains on my neck and stuff. All that type of resistance training and adding that weight to you helps a lot, because when you take that off, you feel light as a feather and you can just move so fast. So I was doing that a lot. But yeah, I was doing that 7 days a week, and I was just training as hard as I can, and I can't wait to get back into that, because of this whole quarantine thing is screwing everything up. I'm trying to get into the gym as fast as possible, but I'm still working out. I got my basement. Like I said, I got all that work. I've been just running around, going to the field, just doing as much as possible, But
yeah. And everyone's in the same boat. I mean, it was still interesting how your team, you said your facility wasn't done yet. You guys were all basically on your own until the season, and the fact you guys made it to the finals, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I guess for the most part, everybody worked hard. Everyone was excited because we're a brand new team, and everybody wants to get that starting job,
Everyone was hungry. Everyone was hungry for it.
Yeah, of course, and the starters, the starters get paid more. It's like any other professional team. The starters are going to get paid more than just a random schmo that's on the team, just playing special teams. So everybody's going to want to get that starting job just to get the extra money, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, some of the guys got together. I got together with some of the guys. We had like a Facebook group, and we're like, hey, we're going to hit the field at, Sayreville or Edison. We're going to go hit the field and throw the ball around, do this, do that. So we still been working out together. We've been doing actually, I think a month, like it was like a month ago. Everybody went to the beach and we were running on the beach. And running the beach workouts are also really great. That helps your speed and your strength and your muscles and your legs and everything to get up too. But yeah, I mean, not having the weight room and stuff, it's definitely it's definitely hard to get everybody together. But the fact that everybody's working out and trying to get together and stuff, that's big because that's what teams got to do, like making that bond. Like teams, if you're good, if you want to be great, there's got to be a bond within that team. You got to know the people that are around you, and everyone's got to get along. And because if you don't have people who are bonding in your team's going to be just a bunch of individuals, and you won't win. The only individual sport really is wrestling. But still, you're still bonded with your teammates,
So got to put on for your team. Got to get them team points. So anyone trying to get to that next level with football, either it's high school to college, college to pros, what kind of advice could you give them?
Oh man, the advice I would give them is be the first person on the field and the last one off. And become a leader. Try to be a leader. Try to get your teammates to look up to you. Try to be the best player at your position. And try and find the competition. If you're working out in the weight room, don't skip that last rep. Do that last rep. Do that extra work that you got to do. Try and convince your teammates to follow your footsteps, and that's how you're going to be great. And if you want to excel to like the higher levels, you got to do that, because if you're just going to be average, you're never going to make it. Sure, you can go D3 and you could be just the average player, but you're not going to stand out. Nobody wants to go play D3. Everybody wants to go play D1, and if you really love the game, you're going to want to go pro. You're going to want to go to the NFL, but you got to want it. You got to want it. You can't just be an average player. You got to do the extra work. You got to go get people together on your team to go do that extra run, go do that extra workout. And if you want your team to be great, that's what's got to happen. You gotta sacrifice. You can't just after practice or when you're on your day off say, you know what, I'm just gonna go play video games. I'm just gonna go, like hang out with my girlfriend instead. I've been working too hard. You're never working too hard. There's always a day to get better. No matter what, you can be the best player in the whole world and you still can get better no matter what. So, and also don't listen to what other people say. Look at me. People told me, oh, you're not fast enough. You're not strong enough. You're not big enough. Prove them wrong. Show them that you can be what you think you can be, and just make them shut up. Make them shut up. Just do what you know you can do, and always believe in yourself like I did. And believing in yourself, that I know it sounds cliche, but I'm telling you, that makes all the difference, because if you don't believe in yourself, you won't get anywhere, ever. So believing in yourself and knowing what you can do and proving the people wrong, you're going to excel all the way up. You're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going and never give up.
Like the Energizer Bunny, right? So
Yeah.
Adversity moment. What is some adversity you've been through in your life that is now a part of you?
Oh, like I just said, man.
Yeah.
Being told, like, I've been, oh, you're too small. You're not strong enough. You're not fast enough. Just working hard. That makes up for everything. Just work on what they say. Your adversity, I also, my sophomore year of high school, I was squatting, and I heard like a weird like pop in my back, and it was like sore. I didn't really think anything of it, and it was a 2-a-day, and I was on kickoff, and I was running down the field, and I made a tackle, and I went to get up, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't move, and I didn't know what was going on. I got really scared. I ended up going to the hospital. They did an MRI. And I ended up fracturing my L1 and my L2 on both sides of my back. I pretty much broke my back. And the doctor told me, listen, you're probably never going to play football ever again. I'm sorry to tell you that. And when they told me that, like, my heart sunk, like, being told like you're never gonna be able to play the love of your life, your sport. And you know, if you get injured, don't just slack. I know like some things you might not be able to do, but work around it. When I broke my back, I was doing everything in my power to get better. I was going to my physical. I was going to my rehabs. I was trying to work around it. I was trying to just do everything in my that's possible to get better, my back better, and just try and work around it. And if you slack off, you're never gonna get better, and you're gonna end your whole career will end up going down. But the fact that I believed in myself and said, you know what, screw what this doctor says, I'm gonna play again, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to work around this and get myself better, which is what I did. And look at me now, I'm still playing football, and they told me I never was gonna play again. So that was probably honestly the biggest adversity in my whole life, being told I was never gonna be able to play again. But just me working around it and believing that, oh, screw that doctor, I'm gonna play. And it really helped.
It is. Refusing to lose, you know, being tough, that mental toughness.
Yeah, man. I refuse to lose no matter what it is. Yep, I get my legs cut off, I'll be running on my hands or something.
Running on them hands. So yeah. We'll finish up with this. Who is Matty Mags, and what do you want to be known for?
Who is Matty Mags? I'm Matty Mags.
Yeah.
A.K.A. Matty Maserati, Mags, you know. Man, I want to be known as like Rudy. You ever watch that movie, Rudy?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't seen that movie, go and watch that movie. Come on.
Rudy, man. That's pretty much me. I'm trying to be the second Rudy. I'm trying to be the person who just came from the bottom, you know, started from the bottom. Literally been told my whole life I can't do it and just proving everybody wrong. And my all-time goal is obviously making it to the NFL. And it's still possible, you know, like they're still looking for those diamonds in the dust. You know, I'm trying to just keep on making my way up, going from high school to college to the AFL, and then maybe the CFL, then the NFL. And if there was some above the NFL, I would try to do that, you know? The NFL Hall of Fame. I'm trying, man.
There you go.
That's it, man. That's what I'm trying to be known for.
Awesome, man.
Gave up. Little engine I could.
Yep. Yep. So you play for the NJ Bearcats. Where could they find them, and where can they find you?
All right. Well, the season is suspended until further notice. We're probably trying to get the season maybe started up in the winter, so like a winter season, maybe November, December. But if not, we'll probably end up just this whole season canceled out, and then maybe probably next March. But you can go online and type in njbearcats.com. You'll see the roster. You can find me, number 41.
Number 41. There you go.
I mean, come out, come support us. We're the brand new Arena Football League team. So, and we're representing New Jersey. So if you're a part of New Jersey, it's a good time. It's way different game. It's really fun to watch too. Like if you I just go and watch other teams too that are playing at those arenas that are sometimes people come to our facility because it's such a big, nice facility, our field. And I'll just go when I hear that there's a game playing and just watch it. It's a great game to watch. Definitely very exciting. But yeah, you can find me there at Cure Insurance Arena, NJ Bearcats, Matt Magaraci, a.k.a. Matty Maserati, a.k.a. Matty Mags. Find me on Instagram at Matty Maserati.
There it is.
Oh.
Slide in his DMs.
Yeah, DMs, man.
Yeah. All right, my man.
Shout out to Underground Strength Gym, baby. That's what's
always got to give a shout out.
If you want to be great and you're in a high school or you're becoming the guy in high school, go to Underground Strength. You won't regret it. Tell your parents, hey, bring me to Zach. Underground makes monsters.
Yep, it'll change your whole life. Thanks, my man. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Of course. Peace out, brother.
Major decision, 14 to